The Mobile County Public Schools presents Homeroom.
Hi, and welcome to Homeroom, where we introduce you to the students and teachers who are learning today and leading tomorrow in Mobile County Public Schools. I'm your host, Renee Phillips. Today I have with us Lieutenant Colonel Barrow with the JROTC program and Sarah Stanley, who is in the ROTC program at Baker High School. And we're going to tell you about an exciting program that you just wrapped up. The students spent their first week of the summer at camp.
It's the JROTC STEM Leadership Academy, and it took place on the campus of Spring Hill College, and this was our 5th year to execute this camp. So it's a very exciting time for us, again, for these kids.
And to have students who want to come to school the first week of summer, what was that like? Sarah, what made you want to come to go to camp and learn about science?
Well, I attended last year, so attending this year was kind of reminiscent, almost. It was really fun last year, so I decided to join again, build the friendships, gain more friendships, have an experience that helps me join a program out of college or even out of high school.
And I had the privilege of joining you guys for a couple of days, and you're at Spring Hill College, you're at USA, and they stay in the dorm. It's about 160 students. And tell us, what do they do during those 5 days?
It's a packed day. We get them up about 5 o'clock in the morning to get them ready. They do physical fitness training. For some of the days, our schedule is so packed that we don't do it every day. But then they have a series of STEM challenges, and this year, as we mentioned earlier, the VEX robotics, we were able to purchase those using that National Science Foundation grant. They'll go through a series of projects with that last all through the week. But we also do industry tour visits. We also visited the campus of the University of South Alabama. But it's a glimpse of college life for them because they have to live with someone else in a dorm. They eat in the cafeteria there, which the food was excellent by Spring Hill College. And we put them to bed about 10 o'clock at night. And so it's a very long day for us as instructors as well. But we keep them engaged just about the entire time. They don't have a lot of free time, and that's deliberate. We want them to stay focused and to be committed to the program in terms of what they can learn from it. So it's good stuff.
And you're up till 10, but you're awake around 6 doing physical activities, correct?
Oh yeah, they get up probably about 5, I think, most days. They're starting to bang on the doors. So.
What was that like, Sarah?
It's terrifying the first day because you don't have that happen, but you get used to it. And you have your roommate. Like if you bring an alarm clock, it helps a lot. You can wake up earlier, so you won't wake up terrified.
They had to learn alarm clocks because we took their phones from them. And the kids today, of course, that's a part of their body almost. But this year, without the phones, they had to use old school alarm clocks. And of course, our instructors go through and so forth. But it caused them also to look at each other as opposed to looking down and texting one another even though we're sitting next to each other. So that part was kind of fun. That's the second year we've done that, and that's been successful for us. Keeps them more focused.
I met one of the students on the last day, and I had my phone because I was tweeting some pictures, and she's like, ooh, a phone. I forgot what a phone is. So I think that's a great thing that you guys do.
It's different for them.
And a lot of the focus, they meet students from different schools, right? You pair them up in teams. Can you explain
14 high schools in the district. We have 12 that are in our district immediately, and then the other 2 Army programs at Chickasaw and Satsuma high schools. And because of our funding sources, they want us to include them, and certainly they're just kids like everybody else, and they do a good job as well. But they all mix up. We try not to leave them together with their buddies from there to click up by school. We don't allow that.
So in particular, like you're wearing your orange shirt, so you were on the orange team, and so what school were your partners with for robotics and all that?
My platoon was made up of everybody. All 14 schools were in my platoon. In my group that we were working on our robot, we had, I know we had Davidson and Chickasaw. Other than that, I'm not sure.
Each platoon has 7 teams that they break into, so it's sort of random at that point, which if they'll get one from each of the schools. But it's a pretty good breakdown. When I lay that out, we try to mix and match.
And was that a good experience for you, getting to know students from different schools who may have some of the same interests or different interests? Or
Definitely. We make friendships that we can sustain. I made friends last year, and I've maintained those relationships. Some of them came back this year, so we were all good.
Kids like Sarah will come back. We ask for a handful, not too many, but if you notice, she's wearing a couple of medallions, and that's for the leadership that she exhibited there, which we're very proud of her. That big medallion, only one out of her squad gets that. There's 2 squads per platoon, so we want upperclassmen like she will be this coming school year to demonstrate leadership skills. That's what ROTC is really about, is to teach leadership and citizenship. And we've added this STEM component because we want to encourage our collaborative effort with our science teachers and math teachers, because JROTC, we're educators too. And that collaboration has paid big dividends in our district.
I think the teamwork, the problem solving, that's something that will serve them well when they get back to their schools as well as in their career, correct? Or, yeah.
Definitely. We have programs, and especially if you're moving up, then it'll help you with your position next year.
So we have some video here of the hands-on component. Can you tell us what they're making a robot? What are they doing?
Currently, it looks like we're building the frame of the robot. That's definitely fundamental in your robot. You need that.
How many pieces was it in, Sarah? It was 1,000 pieces before they had to construct this.
Oh my God, we lost so many pieces. It was bad. So many tiny parts as well.
And that's the obstacle course. So you had to create a robot that would perform specific tasks, right?
Yes.
What did it have to do?
We had to build an arm at one point. We had to build a plow, multiple other things. You had to do so much. It was a scoop. You had to scoop things, bring it up, bring it back.
Did you program it too, right? Through a computer set of commands? Is that what it had to do, or with using the joystick?
You had to hook up the controller to the battery and connect it that way.
Okay.
So we did do that.
So did you get it right the first time, or was it trial by error?
Definitely trial by error. We messed up so many times, and with losing parts and trying to follow the manual, we messed up.
But did you learn from the mistakes?
Definitely.
Okay.
We put in so many parts that just did not work, but somehow we managed it.
And as an educator, do you like to see that they're learning, they're trying, and
It's
they're
fascinating to see, because the excitement that builds in the room, an explosion takes place when they get it. And the fact that they fail and regroup as a team, and sometimes they get pretty dicey with each other, but when they get it as a team, and especially leaders like she was one of the team leaders, that's what's great to see, because then they've achieved success. When they doubted themselves, they overcame that doubt and managed to do very well. So we're very proud of the result.
And what a great experience just all around. Well, that's great. Well, we have to break for commercial, and when we come back, I'll introduce you to some more of the students and educators who were at our JROTC STEM camp this summer.
When it comes to getting your child through school, at times it can be overwhelming.
What school to choose, what classes to take, how to apply for college.
To help answer these questions and more, we would like to invite you to join us on Parent Connect as we take an in-depth look at some of the issues and concerns you may have about your child's education.
So get connected with Parent Connect, weekly right here on the MCPSS TV network.
When parents are involved in school, you get more of this and less of this.
Hi, and welcome back to Homeroom. Today we're learning about a program called the JROTC STEM Academy, which is where we had about 160 JROTC cadets spend the first week of their summer learning and engaging in math and science and learning leadership skills. I have joining me Dr. Susan Pruitt with STEMworks. She worked on the curriculum and oversaw the academic components. And also I have Jakara White from Baker High School who participated in the program. So Dr. Pruitt, tell us, what is the STEM Academy?
Oh, good question. The STEM Academy is the vision and baby of Frank Bear, Colonel Frank Bear. But what it tries to do is engage youngsters in real world science and math, integrate science and math to solve an engineering design challenge, a problem, to bring relevance to the math and science they're learning in their school, you know, so they see how it's used. Why bother with this? So it's a very integrated approach. And then the STEM Academy, as Colonel Bear said earlier, takes that STEM component and combines it with the workforce needs, where we need a lot of STEM savvy workers, and the leadership component and character building that the JROTC program does anyway. So STEM, I know you're going, people usually want to know, what is STEM? Is it stem cell research? No, and a lot of people know that the letters do stand for science, technology, engineering, and math. But it's not 4 separate disciplines. It's an integrated approach to solving problems using the science and math to then solve those engineering problems using technology where relevant.
And so, Jakara, what was it like for you to spend your week doing science and math all integrated into the projects?
Well, see, I'm not a math person, but I really enjoyed having to spend time with other people and getting to build a robot, which I didn't know we were going to do. But that was actually the best part, when we had to come together as a team and build that robot and know more about robots, which we don't get to know about originally, but it was just very fun.
So is that more fun than a math problem?
Yes,
More problem on the
very,
board?
very fun.
And you won a medal. Tell us about the medal that you got.
Yes, so I had got the highest academic award. At first, I didn't think I was going to get it, but basically, I was just, very active with my team members. I was also a leader, helping out. I always, boost up everybody, motivated everybody, make sure everybody was okay. So, just continue to be a good leader and motivate others.
That's wonderful. And so you spent most of your time at Spring Hill College, but then you ventured over to the University of South Alabama to Shelby Hall. And I think we have some video of the experiences that the students had from there. So can you tell us, what did you do in the classrooms at Shelby Hall?
Well, what we always do, this is our 5th year of integrating, working with, collaborating with Dean Stedman and the College of Engineering. So they go through, the cadets go through 6 different sessions of very engaging investigations. And one, I think they're seeing some about the Bernoulli's principle that the young engineering student shared with them, and she connected it with how a curveball flies. They also went to a topography sandbox, was what it was, and the military folks were very interested in this because the cadets, can you remember how y'all could pull the sand together and it would show all the topography lines and also show how a watershed, where the water would go. You remember that?
Yes, I do. Yeah, that was very fun.
So what was your favorite activity over there?
The sand, that was a lot of fun.
Here.
Yeah, we got to, they had a projector and it would come over the sand, and whenever we shake it and our hands underneath, then the water will fall. And so that was very fun. And we built who can make the highest the highest mountain or hill. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Is that a 3D printer that you're using there? Or?
Yeah, that was. They said that there's different types of printer. That was actually a plastic printer. So there's metals, but the metals are like very expensive. So they had the plastic. It was cool to see.
So when we talk about math and science and you see that hands-on component, just what does that do for your brain?
It makes me have to think a lot, because I know how to fix things, but you have to look at a lot of instructions and you have to know what you're doing. And it's okay to mess up, because when you mess up, then you know what you need to do better. But just messing up in general is like very stressful. But it was okay.
But it's a good lesson, because I think sometimes we just get into where we have to do everything so perfect. Right. We learn more from our failures. Right. And we come back and go do it stronger and do it better. As an educator, that's what you preach, isn't it?
It's critical, and especially being a math person. I think, unfortunately, a lot of times in math class you think you've got to get it right. The students say they're wrong, they failed if they can't get the right answer. But in actuality, when you're learning something, failure is a learning too. You learn then from that failure, and it was so good to see the cadets, as they were working on their robots, persist through failure and continue until they got to that glorious moment where a robot could do the things they wanted it to do.
You get so excited.
And I do want to mention that a lot of this is possible. This was our 5th year to put on the camp, and we have a lot of sponsors, but a huge component of it is the grant that we got from the National Science Foundation, and it's very rare for a K-12 school system to get it. So can you tell us about this grant?
Yes, I can. STEMworks helped develop this grant. And one thing you mentioned was the collaboration. I think this is one reason NSF was so impressed with this. We had the support of the community, the city, the council, the county commission. We had support of industry. We had the colleges involved, like you said, USA and Spring Hill, the school system, critical partners. So it was very much a collaborative partnership around a real community need and a real worldwide need. NSF funded this project not just because they care about Mobile and what we're doing here in Mobile. They funded this project because they see potential for this to be replicated in other areas through JROTC or even other entities. So getting this grant is very hard. You talk to any academician and you put a lot of work into it, and very few get funded. So we were very thrilled to get funded.
Right, and such good news. It was a $1 million grant,
Right.
And I think it's great from a school system point of view that people are looking at what we're doing in Mobile County and that they might be able to duplicate this elsewhere. Well, we have to break for commercial, but when we come back, I'll introduce you to some more students who participated in our STEM camp this summer with JROTC.
As a student in the Mobile County Public Schools, there are a few things I've come to expect. One is a quality education, and the other is a quality lunch. Not only are our school meals well balanced, meeting all federal nutritional standards, but they also have less fat, fewer calories, and they taste really good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our school lunches contain whole wheat, grains, fruits, and vegetables to give me the energy and brain power to get me through the day.
Each month, more than 90 guns are reported stolen from unlocked vehicles, creating the potential of serious injury or death.
Lock it up.
Many violent acts and crimes are committed with stolen guns.
Lock it up.
According to ATF, stolen guns pose a substantial threat to public safety.
Lock it up.
Be responsible. Take time to record your handgun serial number and secure it from thieves. Lock it up.
Lock it up for me.
Hi, and welcome back to Homeroom. Today we're learning about our JROTC STEM camp, where about 160 of our cadets spent the first week of their summer learning science, technology, engineering, and math. They stayed on a college campus and they learned about problem solving, teamwork. How was the camp? What did you like about it?
I felt that it was a really good thing because I'm trying to be an aerospace engineer when I graduate, and it teaches you all the skills, the basis of what basically you're going to be learning, and the things you need to know for the future if you want to go into that job in any career at all. It's pretty important.
That's Christopher Kirshner from Theodore High School,
Yes, ma'am.
and you got to know several friends who wore the green shirts for the Green Battalion, including Caleb Newell over here. So what was it like to meet people from different schools?
All right, so meeting people from new schools, it was an interesting experience because, you know, you're with all these people that you don't know, and you have a bunch of different personalities. Some of them collide, but then you work to each other's strengths, and it really helps you out overall. So it was an interesting experience.
What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was the industries that we explored, like SSAB, the steel factory, and Hyundai. We got to watch the cars being assembled on the line, and they ship to all over the United States. I found that really interesting.
So there are workers at the plant using that science and technology to make cars that go all over the place. That was fascinating. And then another, besides the academic component and the real world part, there was a lot of physical activities, correct? Because it is JROTC,
Yes,
and that's a big
Yes,
component of
there
that.
was.
So
2 days a week. We had PT at 5:30 in the morning. We woke up. We had to get ready. After they bang on the door, we had to be right outside waiting in groups, and then we did PT. And it can be very challenging, but you just, over being an RTC for a long time, you get used to it, and your body builds up to gain from that. You just get sore a lot, though. And then we also had a sports day, which was really fun. It's where we just rotated, like I think it was like every 15 minutes, and we did a different sport as a team, and we had to work together.
And I think we have some video of some of the teamwork building, the land navigation and all that. So I think we're going to roll that. But what was that experience like for you guys?
So the land navigation, it's kind of similar to orienteering in the sense that you're out in the woods and you have to find these points. So here we are marching down the trails here.
In the rain.
In the rain. Well, my group wasn't. It was kind of sprinkling, but it wasn't really raining.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so they're giving instructions on how to take pace counts. Pace counts going from point A to point B and knowing how far you've gone, like 200 meters, say, until you find your next point. And they also teach you how to use a compass and read the landmarks on a map. So these are very useful skills, especially if you're one of the people that, like me, that you like to go exploring out in the wilderness. And it was a lot of fun.
And Christopher, what did you think of this part of it?
Oh, Lennar was really cool because there's different types of, what's it called? If you go to out like mountains and regions and stuff like that, like valleys and all that, I forgot what they're called, they have different things you need to know, and it really teaches you how to explore and how to be in control of your surroundings. And the best thing about it is it teaches you how to plot your time, like every 60 steps was 100 meters. And they teach you things that'll help you be able to keep track of where you're at.
And that's good for life, right? If you go
Yes,
camping
ma'am.
or go hiking out in the woods, you'll use these skills.
Especially if you're gonna be in the military.
Yes. And do you have any plans to go into the military?
Yes, ma'am.
I've been recently looking into the Coast Guard.
Good.
I'm trying to be neither a Marine or Army.
And what makes that an attractive career choice?
I looked at doing the Navy first, but then I decided I want something that's more family friendly. So the Coast Guard seems like a viable option. You're not going to be away for too long, maybe 2 weeks at a time. And it's close to home. You'll get to see the rest of the country. You'll move around every so often. And it's going to be an interesting experience. I think I'll like it.
What about you?
I honestly love PT and physical things. And Marines are basically, besides the Navy SEALs, of course, they're like the most challenging and training all that. And I like that kind of feel. And Army, of course, is the main thing people like to join. And it just honestly sounds cool.
And you were telling me during the break about the rappelling, and you got to try that. So do you think you would like to do
Yeah,
that?
rappelling is a skill that they teach you. It's basically you have a rope and an incline, and you have to jump down, rappel down, which is basically you walk or jump down like this over and over until you get to the floor.
And you did that at the camp?
Yes, ma'am. It was really fun.
Well, that's wonderful. One thing we try to do in Mobile County Public Schools is prepare our students to be college and career ready, and this is a great example of how the JROTC program is doing just that. We have to break for commercial. When we come back, I'd like to introduce you to some more of our cadets who participated in the JROTC STEM Academy this summer.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it. Get it.
Is she gonna get it, Daddy?
She'll get it. Get it. Get it.
When you bring home a Goodwill find, you give your whole town a reason to celebrate because you're also funding local job training and placement programs in tech, healthcare, and more. Goodwill. Bring good home.
Hi, and welcome back to Homeroom. Today we are meeting some of our JROTC cadets who participated in our STEM Academy this summer. They learned problem-solving skills, team-building skills, leadership, and lots of science and math. Joining us, I have Anna Tran from Theodore High School and James Burgess from Baker High School. What was your favorite part of the camp?
I really enjoy the people and the atmosphere around the camp.
My favorite part was when we was getting to the physical activities like sports night and PT in the morning. That was my favorite part.
So you liked waking up early?
I did.
Yeah? Do you do that all summer or just during this week?
All summer so far.
Oh, good. Because that's a lot of the component you're learning in the JROTC is the physical as well as the academic. So you pulled it all together. What was it like bringing it all together at the camp?
So when we wake up in the morning, we get dressed, we get ready to go. We go outside, we get information, and then we either do PT or we eat breakfast. But like after we do PT, we eat breakfast. And then we go on a field trip, and then we come back and get to hands-on activities with building our robots. And then we break for lunch, we go back to the classroom, and we do some more working. And then we answer questions, and then we eat dinner.
So jam-packed days.
Yeah, so he was on like a sort of different time schedule than I was. I was more in the afternoon, so they would go out and do their field trips in the morning. I would probably do it during the afternoon. And we had, as they said earlier, we had 2 physical days, PT in the morning and a sports night. It was really good and really fun.
So tell us about the field trips.
The field trips. So I think that one of the first ones we went to was SSAB and BASF, and those were like 2 companies, and they kind of introduced us to how they run their company, how their salaries were, and kind of we toured around there too. And we also went to Hyundai and toured around their place as well.
Okay. And did you know that Hyundai was here and that we in Alabama make cars?
I didn't know that. For me, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that at first. It came to my thought that we did, but I didn't know that we did it here.
Because it's actually become a major industry in Alabama. So what was that plant like? What did you see?
It was really, really large, and it was really beautiful too. I was surprised that they had like a waterfall, like a water fountain in the front and a lot of floral decorations. It was really nice, and they kept their inside the plants really neat and orderly.
And what were the employees doing? Were they using science and technology?
They was using more engineering though, because they have to build the cars to put them in place, make sure everything was straight before they test drive it. And during test drive, you can't listen to anything. You can't turn on the air conditioning because they had to listen for anything loose. And that was pretty fun.
So they had to pay a lot of attention to detail,
They did.
correct? And is that stuff, because you went up there and you saw that, and then you came back and worked on your own robots. So did that help you to see how that's in
It
action?
kind of made me pay attention a little more to what I was doing. Sometimes I can be a bit absent-minded. So it made me pay attention to what goes where a little more.
And what about for you? What was it like making the robot?
So when I was building the robot, our robot name was Kenny. When I was building the robot, it helped me understand like where things go, like the motor goes in the back instead of the front. Because if you have too much in the front, it can flip over. But if you have just enough in the back, it could just drive smoothly.
And so through these trips, you also went to some military facilities, correct? You went to the Coast Guard. What did you do there?
The Coast Guard, we went drown-proofing there in their little pool. There was we were separated into people who could actually swim and people who couldn't. I couldn't swim, so I stayed on the other side. And we just learned first, and while they kind of formed up, sort of, and had little teams go and swim, and then afterwards they would learn how to use your trousers to make a flotation device. It was really cool. Now I know how to do that.
That's cool. It's something you don't learn every day in the classroom.
No. Right.
And
So-
okay.
So what we had to do, like we have our shorts on, we had to take off our trousers, we had to tie them up at the front and drape them across our neck, and then we had to get air and water in, and then we have to hold it real tight and we could just float.
So hopefully it's a skill you will never have to use, but you learned it regardless. And so thank you so much for being here today. Today we've been learning about our JROTC STEM Academy that our cadets participated in this summer as part of our wonderful JROTC program, which we offer at all 12 of our high schools in Mobile County Public Schools. So if you have a student who's interested in joining, we highly recommend JROTC.
I really highly recommend it.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, but thank you for joining us on Homeroom. We'll see you next time.